Jen with Home by Jen, and today I have a special guest with me. We are talking about how to not feel guilty being an active mom and working at the same time. I am joined with Janae from wisedaywisedollar.com. Say hi.
Hi.
So I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited. I get questions about guilt a lot, and I thought, who better to answer all of these questions than you?
Awesome. Thank you for having me today.
Of course. So why don't you just let everybody know, if they don't know who you are already, just introduce yourself and tell them about your website and what you do and all that good stuff.
Okay. Hello. My name is Janae, and as Jen said, I have Wise Day, Wise Dollar, which is part-time for me because I do work full-time. I have a career in the retirement space. So I have been in the retirement space for about 17 years now, and I lead a team and pretty much work full-time. So it's a very crazy, hectic life, daytime meetings, client meetings, conferences, and then I run home and then I change hats to be a mom and an Uber and a cook and a homework tutor. So it's just something that I wouldn't have any other way.
That's so awesome. I bet a lot of people can relate to all of those hats that you're wearing.
And it changes. So the moms out there that have the little ones are still worried about the baths and the diapers. So my girls are 12 and 13. So we're kind of on a cusp of a new era with, SaaS and money and I want and I need and
Right.
can I go here, and just making it all work out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I actually can relate to you since my children are a little older too. I don't have to worry about that. I worry about, the new greatest and latest phone and all of that stuff.
And I try to keep them, what's the right word? Keep them in reality. Like sometimes they think that, money grows on trees, and just to kind of hone it in and keep in touch with what I do with my day job and my blog, Wise Day, Wise Dollar, and that we need to save. We need money comes, it's you can't spend it faster than you earn it.
That is so true. That is so true. So I want to talk about feeling guilty because I think that is like the biggest thing. So, guilt is a big feeling when moms enter the workforce or they re-enter the workforce. They have young ones at home, and maybe they have older ones at home, and they're finally like, I'm gonna make it. I'm like gonna start. So what are a few things that you think that maybe they could do to lessen that guilty feeling, or maybe things that you've done?
So, I have always surrounded myself with other women who work and have that positive support network, good energy, high energy, and just always take it. I think that it comes down to a mindset. Always have that positive mindset going in, talking about my day with my girls. And now that they're older and they've met, like we do company picnics and company Christmas parties, different things where they'll say, and I'll bring home my teachable moments and tell them and get them interested in what I do. And my 12-year-old is super excited. She's like, I want a job where I could wear suits and high heels every day, like you. Like, okay,
cute.
I'll remember that.
That's so cute.
And just another thing is, if you get into a line of work and something makes you happy, I feel like that that energy and the happiness is going to be contagious, and you'll be able to radiate it to your family. Like I love what I do. So it really works. I do have a babysitter every day that gets him off the school bus, that helps him with homework. We've been having her for 4 years now, and it's a really good balance.
Nice. I have to say, I love that your daughter, she wants to, wear suits and high heels. I remember when I was a little kid, I would watch the news. My parents watched the news a lot, and I wanted to be Secretary of State because I thought, like, I wanted to be a secretary because I thought secretaries were so cool because they could, like, type on a keyboard. Well, I actually was a typewriter. I'm gonna be truthful here, but type on a typewriter, and that was like the biggest secretary. And then my parents were like, yeah, I don't know if you realize what the Secretary of State does. So that's just so funny.
That is so funny. So anything that I could bring home to help, or anything to introduce finance or savings. Like if we recently went to New York for spring break, and we were talking about, or even when you go to the mall, you could talk about places that are publicly traded. Like, oh, let's see what the stock price is of this. What do you think Coke is today? Or what do you think, Pepsi is today? So they already have learned at an early age about stock prices, in the market, investing, and just introducing those principles and making it fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really great. So, what are things that moms can do to balance their job and be an active parent? Because the great thing about what you do is not only do you work, but you're also a very active parent. You hang out with your kids when they're, going to cheer, and, you do those things. So what do you think other parents or moms could do?
So I get up very early, probably 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock to go work out. That's really important for me to stay fit. Mm-hmm. And I get to see if I'm running. I'm a runner. I could meet my girlfriends, and it's a time to visit. So I'm kind of multitasking. I can talk and run at the same time.
Right.
I am back in time to do a big breakfast. And some of my friends are like, Janae, you got to keep the bar low. Cereal for breakfast, because my girls tell their girls,
oh, yeah,
let's breakfast today. But they don't like school lunches, so we have a tradition where I do like eggs, bacon, toast, smoothies. I mean, it's a pretty big spread, and it doesn't take that long. And I've become more efficient as time goes on. And it's kind of crazy. I have a lot of dishes flying at the same time here, but that's one thing. And we could talk about what's going on today. What do you have going on? So that's morning, pulse point. And then when I get home from work, and Kate might be home from cheer, sometimes we have a cheer carpool, and I'll even pick her up with her friends, and I will ask them about their day. I like to know their friends. So the weekends are pretty crazy because I would rather my kids here with other friends than them be away. So we always have multiple people over for dinner and sleepovers. I should take out Stock and Papa John's because we're always getting pizza. Spending time with them on the off days. So it's quality time. It's just not filler. And when I bring Avery to dancing or pick her up from dancing, how was dance? How was school? What do you have going on? And then maybe another pulse point is at nighttime. Now they're Avery will be a teenager in November. Kate's going to be 14 in July. So they're constantly on their phones. They're constantly, head stuck in, talking to their friends. So we do have no phone zones, no phone zone for dinner or breakfast, so we could communicate. We have family dinner probably twice a week with my husband, in the evening, where all four of us can meet at a table and just talk about, what's going on. Summer's coming. What are we doing for summer? Kate has a cheer camp. Avery has dance. It's kind of crazy. My husband and I have travel schedules that we have to coordinate, but we're still going to find the time to go on a family vacation, and that might just be like a drivable vacation 2 hours away to the beach or something. It doesn't really have to be fancy or expensive. It's just something to kind of reconnect as a family.
Right.
That's a great time to be an active parent. I also would suggest, and we could kind of go through this if you're getting back into the workforce, ask for flexibility. Employers are so generous in flexibility and talking about work-life balance. So it didn't hurt that I work probably 5 minutes away from their school. So I was able to go to cheer games and volunteer for PTA and the library fair and the school book fair and pick them up from cheer practice. But you could do other ways. Like if you work in the city, you could do breakfast or dinner or have that evening time when not only is their phone down, but your phone down as well.
Right.
So you kind of just talk, because things are going on at school right now that you want to probably get a pulse and see, how they're doing.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, that's so true. I love how you just want to know what their day is like and what's going on, and you keep in contact with their friends. And I think that is something that maybe a lot of parents don't do, where they're,
Right. And I try to stay neutral and not
of course
tell me something, so that they can open up to me and say,
right.
had this situation, because, drinking is going to come into, the conversation very soon. I mean, it already has. Like, what can you do to, are they going to feel bullied? Are they going to feel peer pressure? I mean, we're going to have the conversations about sex and alcohol and drugs, just so they can talk to me, just very honest, like, I'm not going to freak out. We've already talked about it. If there's a time when you need to get picked up, no questions asked. I'm going to come and pick you up.
Right. My daughter, my youngest, she has a way of telling me things while I'm driving. We call it the car confessional.
Yeah, I love it. I should probably take that into my schedule here.
Yeah, it's like, did you what?
And sometimes, and I don't know, because you have more than one child as well, like me, that kids aren't created equal. My oldest is a little closer to the vest, and she'll give me a little, little pieces, oh, did I tell you that I'm dating so-and-so? I'm like, no, not really. But the other one is like, she'll tell me everything. And so I just want to keep that close bond so they could feel like they could talk to me at any time.
Yeah, and that's, I think, so important, and kind of a hard thing to master, especially when they get to be older and they want their, to become more of an individual instead of, being the child they're, growing up. And so that could be a hard balance.
Yeah, because I remember not too long ago when they were toddlers, and I would dress them alike in these cute little matching jamboree outfits, and now, one is like Lily Pulitzer and the other one is like American Eagle with the ripped shorts with the pockets hanging out, and I'm like, mortified. I'm like, oh my God, but that's the trend, and I just have to take a deep breath and try to
just breathe. You just breathe. Just breathe through it. Yeah, my two daughters are totally opposites. My oldest was a skirt and makeup, and my youngest is Hollister and no makeup. It just she's just like. So I love that. I love that, when they grow up, because I was like you, where they would be in like little matchy, the headbands would match their everything, and they, it was all coordinated. And now they're like, whatever's clean, that's on the floor.
Yes. So Avery is probably, she's kind of channeling the Alanis Morissette with the long hair. She may or may not brush it for school, no makeup, and the other one needs, 2 hours to get ready.
Exactly.
Like, to be perfect.
Yep. I think we kind of have the same.
Yeah. And you just have to learn to work with it and kind of know your your schedule and what your pick your battles.
That's it. I think that is definitely key. Is just pick the battles.
Yeah.
Some of them just let them go. So anyway, so I want to shift from the children to more of the moms. And why do you think that it's so important for moms to work? Just like your opinion.
Right. So yeah, for me, because I have friends that left the workforce because maybe they were a teacher and it didn't make financial sense for them to be at home, or they are family values that they wanted to be, a very present mom. So, but for me, I wanted to have a career. I went to college late. I started at 26, and it took me 7 years to graduate from college. So I really wanted to put that degree to good use. And for some, I mean, it's just kind of a piece of me. It kind of works with my personality. I'm an extrovert. I like to be high energy, meeting with people, networking. But also, I feel that it is important for me to inspire my girls, that I want them to see that you could be independent and successful on your own right. Mm-hmm. They don't have to get married. They don't have to rely on anyone else other than themselves.
I like that.
It's important for me. Mm-hmm. You know, there is a pin out there in the world, and it says, don't teach your girls about glass slippers. Teach them about shattering glass ceilings.
Oh, I love that. I love that. There's a viral video going around, if Cinderella was a man.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, and it kind of says kind of the same thing. Like, you know, we're teaching our children at young age that we just need to, you know, marry a prince and life will be wonderful. And right. You know, unfortunately, we don't live in castles and we don't have princes and princesses, and you know. But I love that, like shattering the glass ceiling. I think that's awesome. So you talked about this a little bit earlier, about, you know, what you do in the morning, and you go running and you have time with your girlfriends. But what are your specific, like, non-negotiables? These are things that you need to do.
For myself?
Yeah.
Running is definitely, and working out in the morning, just to have that fitness time, because I feel like, you know, a happy mom, you know, a happy Janae is a happy mom, is a happy wife, is a happy life. Like, that kind of is, right. You know, if I don't work out for 3 days, they're like, oh, she's grumpy. So you know, she needs to go. Some other non-negotiables. I tend to, we have a mantra in our house that stress is contagious, and no stress. And if the girls get into an argument, or if I tend to lose it, because I have known to lose my cool and, you know, scream, you know, or do something crazy, my answer is, okay, let's reset. You know, so we never, we always try to work through, you know, a fight at the end of the day, never go to bed angry. That's a really good. Have time for myself, non-negotiable. Like, so many people they get so busy and you lose yourself. Like, you're a mom and your work, and then you never have like 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And I spend my time exercising, but it's my time. Or maybe the late afternoon, the late night, rather, I'll read. I'm in a book club, and that's, you know, my time. And maybe we have moms out there, their little ones, it's not reasonable for them to say that they have, because they're so exhausted, you know, by 8:30 they go to bed and you go to bed. Things will shift. Will shift. You just have to work with what works for you. Like, when my girls were younger, a non-negotiable was like setting up play dates, not necessarily with their friends, but with my friends who had kids. And then they be friends, just so you could have adult conversation.
For sure.
Also, if you're in a relationship, date night, totally not negotiable. Keep what's important, you know, get a sitter, get a family member, trade out with a friend, you know, you make it work. Even if it's lunch and coffee, it doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. It could be 45 minutes to just, we've been married for like 23 years and we still have time to, you know, break for coffee or go grab, you know, fajitas or do something to kind of stay connected. Connected is so important.
I totally agree with that. There was a time where we were both working so much that the only time we had was during the day. We would, one day a week, we would take a long lunch so we could go have lunch together, because it was just like we were so busy that there was just no way. And we looked at each other before we implemented the weekly lunch date. When was the last time we spent some time together, just you and I? And it was like, like 2000 maybe. So that's when we were like, okay, something needs to change. And you just have to. Sometimes it's just about being creative of when you can do things like that.
Yes.
So I guess the next question that I had, you've already answered, which is, do you make time for yourself? And it sounds like you do.
And I'm flexible with that. Like I would love to, work out most days of the week, but I am flexible and know when to call it. Like if my husband's traveling out of town and Kate decides to have a meltdown at 10 o'clock because she forgot she has a project due and she's, has homework still, I take a deep breath. I try to talk her off the ledge. I come in, I help, because at this point they're mostly independent, to go in, help, study for a test, finish up a project, edit a term paper. And then, if we're going to bed at 12:30 or 12 o'clock, I know it's super late, but it's life. And I'll just say, tomorrow will be an off day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And even you could just do like I think that's what the internet is so wonderful for, is even when you have those 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning nights, morning nights, but you can just like go onto Pinterest and see like, a 10-minute yoga workout or,
do squats while you're brushing your teeth.
Oh, right.
I've done that too. Anything to kind of do a few leg lunges. And I've had like plans before, and if something comes up, I, kind of go with the flow, and that's the best kind of attitude to have, because, some things will always come up.
Yeah, I love that it's all about flexibility and being okay with things changing.
Employers today, if you're trying to get back into the work field, they know that if they're a good leader, if they're a good employer, they will embrace the flexibility. You'll have a great manager. You'll be able to take times to go to the, violin recitals and the dance rehearsals and the cheer camp, and just know if they'll see that if you're passionate about your job and your career and willing to put in the time, they're going to give that back to you in spades.
I agree. And you do definitely see that more and more, where you're having even them allow like what is that called when you work from home, telecommute or
telecommute 1-2 days a week. Maybe you want to pack up and go home one day. I used to live in Louisiana, and now I live in Richmond, Virginia, and some winters are pretty brutal, where it's snowing, and I'm such a baby. I'm like, I can't make it in today, but I could work from home, or I could wait until the snow dries. And if someone on my team has that same, philosophy where they can't get in, or something is going on, I'm like, it's a snippet. It's just a snippet of time. And if I let them, or allow them and not give them crap about going to, an appointment that might take 3 hours, it's all good. It'll pass, and they'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So what are some advantages of working? If people are starting to think, well, I would love to work, but, like daycare is too expensive, so maybe I just need to stay home, but they really want to work because like maybe they need it for their sanity, like for adult time. So maybe some advantages, so it'll help them push a little, let them take that leap. Yeah.
So I just did a blog on this piece, like all the reasons why you need to work, and only one of my 13 reasons had to do with the paycheck. So that's pretty exciting. And I think that it can be from, like, you have benefits, which are great. Like, I like to contribute to my household, and it might not necessarily mean that I need my salary to pay the bills. So you have the population where you're a 2-income family, and that's fine. But what if you're not working because you don't really have to work? You just might want to work because, like you said, you enjoyed working before. Maybe you had a family, or you want to get out there to challenge yourself or to grow. You can put that into a retirement plan. You could save. I have so many different saving buckets. You can invest. You could put it into a 529 plan for your children. You could do it as a vacation fund. You can, just a number of ways on the benefit front. I also like it because of the conferences, like the mini, if I could go someplace where I've never been before, that may be in your wheelhouse, like to find adventure. This, summer I'll be going to Denver, which I've never been to, which is fun. We have independence, for me, I love to work because it inspires my girls, and then to know that they could grow up and be successful in their own right. I'm trying to think some of the other things, benefits, autonomy, a paycheck, flexibility could be in there. You meet new friends. I met my best friend in the whole world
Nice.
at work. She pronounced my name, said it wrong, said it correctly, spelled it wrong, like Monet with a T at the end with a J. She's like, it's Jonet, right? Like Monet. I'm like, not quite. That was over 20 years ago. So,
I love it.
yeah, so that was really good. Another good one is that you are constantly growing. I'm learning new things. I'm learning to be patient, learning to improve my communication skills. So all of that is transferable to my house. Like I could be a better listener, be more patient, be a better communicator, say exactly what I think I'm hearing, so there's no tears at the end of the day because Kate, thought that I was going to buy her a car, but I didn't really say that I was going to buy her a car, something like that.
Right. Oh, yes, kids. So what are some things, because I know a lot of, I know when my youngest was born, I felt this need of staying home and being that stay-at-home mom, and it lasted for a couple of years, and I felt like my place was, at a job. Like I needed to remove myself, and I knew that for myself. But so maybe there's some stay-at-home moms out there that are ready to re-enter or just enter the workforce. So what are things that they can do to start that process if maybe they haven't worked because, like they have 3 small children and they're like, I just need more than diapers and bottles, So what are some things that they could do, or how can they,
So they could start with networking. Networks. You could volunteer, you could do mom groups, you can just get your name out there, friends of friends, be very active in your community, and then start to put out feelers. Another thing, when you know that you are getting ready to try to either enter the workforce or re-enter the workforce, you need to work on your resume, have a sharp resume, and have a sharp LinkedIn profile. So those are 2 important things because that's how you're going to sell yourself to get that interview. And now if your resume isn't strong enough, for the bigger corporations, they feed them into a soft, a system where if they don't have keywords, they're instantly rejected.
Oh, wow.
So if it's finance and there's no finance on your resume, you'll get a rejection notice that you're not qualified in about 4 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
So
Times have changed for sure.
That is true. But maybe, some other things you can come up with a really good cover letter with your resume and drop it off at local businesses. Maybe you want to work part-time to start to get your foot in the door. You could work perhaps at an accountant's office during tax season and just do 5 hours. And you don't have to have a degree in accounting and go in as a senior CPA. Maybe you can answer the front,
be a receptionist.
Exactly. Or people are always looking for help. People are always, my day job, we hired a stay-at-home mom that re-entered, that needed to go back to work because she got a divorce, and she answered our phones. But she was president of the PTA, and man, her computer skills were like top notch. She also was an assistant to this Stella and Dot, like a corporate person.
Oh yeah.
do all the different things. So just there's tons of stuff on YouTube that you could go to for free and just get yourself a little familiar with some Microsoft applications like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, because those things would look really good on your resume for any line of work. I mean, everybody uses Excel, right? And then
I know I do.
And you can gear your resume and your LinkedIn profile to what you can bring to the table from your stay-at-home days, like your patients or your CEO of your household. You could be creative. I mean, creative is going to set you apart from your competition.
Right, and I love that you brought up the lady that works in your office that you guys hired. She was PTA president, and I know I was the president of my daughter's PTA for like 2 years, and that is hardcore work. And I love that she put that on her resume as part of, because I mean, it takes a lot of work to run a PTA, and I think that's awesome. And I think that moms don't give themselves enough credit for what we actually do on a daily basis, regardless of if we work inside or outside the home. I mean, being a mother is like the ultimate job. And
yes, and the time management skills that you bring to the table, you have you just have a wealth of knowledge that you could bring to the table and would be able to bring, your own attributes to any company that you would want to try to start out with. And if it doesn't, you don't want to develop your career at this one place, maybe it could just be a base for you to grow and elevate and then get a better job or a more
or just build confidence, like I got this on my own. And I think
it's so empowering to have to be a decision maker and to team and to be able to help others and conspire on business decisions and have I love it.
Yeah. So what the $1 million question, where can everybody go to learn more about you and what you do?
Sure. So my blog is wisedaywisedollar.com, and my tagline is empowering women on all things money, career, and life. That's
so awesome. That is so great. And so now you have a checklist that people can get. You want to tell them all about this awesome checklist?
Awesome. So if you go to my website and sign up for the exclusive free LinkedIn checklist, it will kind of guide you on everything you need to do to get your LinkedIn profile up and running to go on the job search. And LinkedIn has tons of jobs, but now I go to hire people. You could always put in your tagline on LinkedIn, like looking for an opportunity. But I mean, it is your virtual interview. I mean, you can make this so much more creative than your resume. And people are more and more looking at this, your LinkedIn profile, than they are even your resume.
That is crazy. So I have a LinkedIn profile, but I think I got on LinkedIn once because somebody said, oh, you should have a LinkedIn. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. So I am going to look, I'm going to see your picture. You want to have a great picture. You're going to want to have a great tagline. I want to know your story. I want to know that you are, a mom going back into the workforce and you're CEO of the household, and that you may handle the finances and the vacation calendar. You're great at time management skills. I want to see that you have connections, that you're active on LinkedIn. There's groups, just like Pinterest groups, there's LinkedIn groups. Anyone, any industry, you can join and have camaraderie amongst your peers. You can have endorsements, like someone who may have worked at your company. They could write, if you've worked for them, what an excellent team player you were, and that you were great at organizing, this master project, so forth. You could do references. You could talk about your education. You could talk about your credentials, your volunteer experience outside of your day job or your home life, like something that you may have done in college.
Right. I was thinking about like all of those PTA fundraisers, if you're a chairperson for one of those, like movie night or, you know, bingo night or something like that, if you're like a chairperson for it, you've done all of the organizing, and you could put that as experience on your LinkedIn profile.
Straight down to the bottom. You could talk about maybe you are bilingual, maybe you about your hobbies, because I want to see, you know, when you have that you are an athlete, that to me shows that you take care of yourself. Like if you show that you are maybe a member of your church, I see that you have religious values. Like I take it as a positive. Like everything could be a positive. Like if you like to spend time with your kids and families, that you work-life balance is important to you.
I love that.
You can make it as extensive as you'd like. I mean, you can kind of poke around and see. I mean, I have some great tips on my checklist.
That's so great. So everybody wants to go, and we're going to have a link below this video so you can grab the checklist and start making an amazing LinkedIn profile for yourself. So is there anything else anybody needs to know before we...
You know, if you're on the fence, you know, you should just try to dabble in and see what you can do. I would suggest maybe part-time, full-time, network, just get out there. I think that for me, it's been an amazing experience, and I think you may just be very happy working.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, the worst thing that could happen is they get a job, they don't like it, they can quit. I mean, if they were living without a job before, they can live without one again. So I think that
just take it as a teachable moment, and then you can apply it to the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. So this is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this amazing information with everybody. And yeah, so everybody, you can just click the button below, and you can download the checklist, the LinkedIn checklist, that you can start creating an amazing LinkedIn profile. So thank you so much for coming and sharing all this information with everybody. And we'll link your website below also, so people can go. They can go find you. They don't have to go searching the interwebs. It's just that there's going to be a link below. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me today, Jen. It's been great.
Of course. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you in the next one. Okay.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.